The tight ends are doing well. You can tell Travis Kuntz, being in this program for a year now, just how much further ahead he is than last year already. Playing faster, he's got a lot of confidence. I tell you what, he looks great. Carrying his weight well, he's running well, blocking well, and has done a really nice job. And then we got a lot of new guys, that are doing a nice job. Jason Lloyd we brought in from California, and he's picking things up. John Holcomb is doing a really nice job. Local guy out here in Wellington. I guess that's local, right? Close enough. Panhandle guy, but John's got a motor. And another guy that's done well in camp is Connor Killian. Connor's been around the program for a number of years now, and Connor's had significant improvement, even from our first 3 practices last spring. He's done a really nice job in quarantine. You can tell he's working out.
And then also, of course, can you speak to the competition at H there, inside receiver? Seems like it's really loaded this camp.
It's great competition. It's really good competition, and it's fun. It's fun to watch these guys compete every day. Just from last year, you got we moved Keyshawn Carter over from outside receiver. Keyshawn looks better. He improves every day. He plays fast. He's a threat out there. Dalton Rigdon, who had a really good year last year, is back, and we expect great things out of Dalton. Dalton comes to work every day. He does a nice job. McLean Mannix. You look at guys, that have were gone for 4 or 5 months, and, McLean comes back. He's in great shape. You can tell he's been working hard. And then, we add Miles Price, and Miles Price from the Colony, and he's a guy that flashes a lot. He can stick his foot in the ground. He can change direction. He can make guys miss. And so it's a lot of fun to see the competition at H. Every day those guys come out and they realize that depth chart, it could change at the end of practice. It might change in the middle of practice, because guys are gunning for each other and they want to be the guy. So it's been fun to watch.
Thanks.
We'll go to Brandon Sully.
Hey, Coach, just kind of wondering about Dalton. So how does he kind of fit into this offense? So what does he really need to do to take the next step in his game with Coach Yost running the offense?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand. You talking about Rigdon? Dalton?
Yes.
Is that what you asked about?
Yes.
Yeah.
How he fits in the offense.
Yeah. Well, he fits one. For one, he's fast. We know that. And anytime he catches the ball, he's got a chance to score. He's a guy that is naturally an explosive player. He did a lot for us last year. The thing we're working on this year is, he's got to be a better blocker. He's got to be more physical. He works constantly with his route running and one-on-ones and is starting to perfect that and get better at that. But he's a consistent guy every day with his speed, with the way he catches the ball, and that's going to give you a chance to be successful with a guy at that position like that.
Go to David Collier.
Hey, Coach.
Hey, David.
Let's go back to the tight ends a little bit. Just we keep talking about John Holcomb, whether it's Matt or Coach Yost. Can you envision him seeing playing time this year, and what are some of the things that he needs to do to have a chance to do that, besides being the fast guy that can catch the ball?
Yeah, well, I tell you what, it's really difficult, obviously, for a true freshman to come in and to play the tight end position. John in high school, John played everything. You went and watched him play, and I went in one of his games last fall, and I saw him play 5 different positions at one point. He's quarterback, he's a tailback, he's an outside receiver, he's a linebacker, does all these things, and now he's learning how to play our offense, and usually the hardest thing is blocking as an inline tight end. But the thing about John is John only has one speed. He's got a motor. He goes fast, and that gives him a chance every snap. And so if John isn't perfect with his technique right now, his speed and his effort is making up for it. And so he's really flashing because he only has one speed. He doesn't slow down. He's got great hands. He does a nice job running routes. catching the football, and I like it because he's a physical dude. You're muted, David.
Yeah, I'm going back.
All right, we'll go to Carlos Silva.
Hey, Coach, can you hear me?
Hey, Carlos. Yep.
Hey, well, just kind of going back to the tight ends, I know the one thing I guess that was looked at was just statistically they weren't targeted as much last year. I guess what do you feel they have to do to kind of get themselves a little bit more integrated into the offense, whether that's just blocking a little bit more, just kind of finding their way to kind of in those little zones or pockets in the defense.
Yeah.
Kind of help out.
Yeah, well, I think the number one thing is dependability. They've got to be able to catch the ball all the time. The one thing with, you look at like last year with Dante Thompson. Well, Dante was dependable, and so as the year went on, we felt, the quarterbacks trusted him, and they went to him more. And so what our guys got to prove during camp is they got to be in the right place. They got to make the catches. But the biggest thing with the tight ends is they got to make contested catches. They got to make plays with guys hanging all over them because they're not always going to be wide open. But they've got to get their body between the defender and the ball and attack it and then be able to make those plays and not come back and go, that guy held me. That would have made that play, but that guy broke it up. They can't have those kind of excuses. They got to be able to make the plays when guys are on them.
And then kind of on those lines, you were alluding to Dante. I guess a guy, Travis Cooch, you guys recruited, brought in last year. We're expecting some things. I guess what was dependability kind of one of those things that maybe he wasn't able to get last year? I guess what were some things that didn't allow him to kind of ride as he did?
No, I think, that's with being an 11 personnel offense and being able to play, one tight end at a time, Dante was playing, well enough to merit more reps. It was probably more of how good he was playing than where Travis was. Of course, we got Travis last summer, and so getting him ready to play in fall camp and, within a couple of months, he wasn't quite ready there game one, and then as the season went on, Travis got better and better. And if you look at what we did with Travis last year, when he was targeted, he got the football. And he caught the football and he ran after the catch, and he runs a lot better than what people think. He's 258 pounds, and the guy can stretch the field. So it'll be exciting to see what he can do this year.
Go back to David Collier since I accidentally cut him off earlier.
We both had the same quick trigger finger there. Coach, you were talking about Holcomb, Miles Price as well. What do you want to see from guys like that in tomorrow's scrimmage, and what can they do in that to kind of sway you or show what they need to work on?
Yeah, I think one of the toughest things for a young freshman is to get used to the pace of our offense. They may flash and they may play really fast, and you could probably put a highlight reel of those guys together, throughout the course of a practice, but playing consistent the next play, and the next play, and the next play. And, watching our offense, we don't huddle. We play really fast. Can you make a play, line up on the next one, and give maximum effort and execute, on a consistent basis is probably the biggest thing with Miles and with John both, because, really physically there's nothing those guys can't do.
Go to Jarrett Johnson, then we'll end with Don Williams.
Hey, Coach, there's been a lot of talk about, some of the negative things that have come from the dead period in recruiting and y'all not being able to be out on the road. But what are some of the positives maybe from y'all being, in Lubbock, closer to the facility and all that?
Yeah, no, that's a great question, and it was really interesting. I think we did a good enough job with the 2021 class of getting guys on campus early, and fortunately, right before everything got shut down, we had a number of our top guys out here for unofficial visits, out here for basketball games, or maybe out here for our first scrimmage that we had in the spring. And so the timing of getting guys in early really helped with that. And so when it came to a lot of those guys making the decisions, they went back to their experience that they had at the junior day. And with the experience, it was, you know, a lot of them was the relationship with the coaches. I think we've done a great job of building relationships with these guys. Lots of FaceTime calls. Like, we have worn those out. And one of the things the NCAA did was they let us call them now. And it feels strange even now. I've been calling them for months. But normally you can't call them until we get to December. But we've taken advantage of that. Just like this right here. We're Zooming right now. All right, we had a number of Zoom calls with some of our top targets, and we would have had the whole offensive staff or the whole defensive staff, Coach Wells, our recruiting staff, you know, and get the parents on, right? And so then you've got a chance to interact with the parents. And so because of Zoom, because of FaceTime, we've been able to take advantage of really just building deeper and stronger relationships with these recruits and their families.
Go to Don Williams.
Hey, Coach.
Hey, Don.
I think this news probably came out when you guys were on the field today, but the NCAA approved that blanket waiver, so everybody basically is the free year of eligibility, regardless of how much they play this year. How does that affect y'all, particularly being the second year of the program, and considering the fact that you have 17 seniors and nearly all those seniors are key players and they can all be back for 2021?
No, I think it's a great deal. I mean, the NCAA is doing the best they can for the players. I mean, that's a great thing. If a guy wants to stay another year and play football, I mean, what a great opportunity for him, and continue to work on his degree to get a scholarship paid for. I think it's a great deal.
Would you assume, because I know obviously it's early since it just happened, but would you think that out of 17 seniors that all or most of them would take advantage of that and stay in school?
I mean, you would think. I think a lot of it depends. I mean, some of them may have a really great year and may think that they've got a chance to, you know, to go play at the next level, go play in the NFL. So maybe that could be something they could consider. Yeah, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see how it all plays out.
How much could it help y'all from a building standpoint, just building the program?
Oh, I think it could help. I mean, obviously, I think it can help a lot. I mean, the more that we're able to, I mean, you get a guy that's, I mean, with us going in, it would be going into our third year, and then, you know, a kid that's a senior, you know, being in our system for one more year, I think it'd be great, you know, and I think it would really help us.
One other thing, changing the subject, David Yost told me back in the spring that even though it's not his nature, he had given some thought to running some 10 personnel this year just because of all the guys that you had at the H receiver spot and the guys who are kind of established improvement. Have y'all done anything in that way yet, or would that be later?
That might be later. You know, I think the biggest thing we've got to do is we've got to answer. I mean, Travis Kuntz is going to start at tight end. We've got to figure out who the second, third, and fourth guy is. And so that 10 personnel is not something that we can do that. And we've got guys, and that's, you know, fortunately being able to have both of those positions in the same room. You've got guys that could easily jump in and they're an H and they go play the Y spot because they understand it, and that's the way we train these kids. So we could jump into 10 personnel tomorrow if we wanted to and be successful doing it because of our players and because of how intelligent they are, and they understand our system very, very well. But right now in fall camp, we're trying to get answers, you know, and trying to figure out who are the guys that are going to be on the bus, you know, who's going to scout team and who's not, and who's going to be the two and who's going to be the three, and every day there's competition for those spots.
I picked up very well. I've just been attacking the field every day at practice, getting my teammates better, and working with Rig every day, just working on my footwork and just picking up where I left off in Austin.
I don't know if you had heard yet, the news came out probably when you guys were on the fields today, but the NCAA approved letting athletes have basically a free year of eligibility. So no matter how much y'all play this year, it won't count against eligibility. So like if you're a junior this year, you can be a junior again next year. How do you feel about the opportunity to have an additional year of college football?
I feel great about that because you can come back another year after you play this year, the amount of games you could play, and just them giving us an opportunity to come back and play again, just a great opportunity. And I just thank God for that, because this pandemic we're going through just making things harder, and you never know what's going to happen. And I hate to lose a year for the seniors and juniors and sophomores and freshmen. Really.
I guess obviously it helps you from a football standpoint, having an additional year. How much can it help you, just as a student, being able to get another year of school paid for, if you choose to stay for that additional year?
Yeah, it just helped me get my grades up. Not my grades up. Just helped me get more further in school and graduate earlier than I was. But
We'll go to Billy Watson.
Hey, Keyshawn, what's up? You guys, Coach Matt Wells has mentioned that you guys at the right wide receiver spot has been quite talented, including the freshmen. What have you seen from the new guys, just the whole position as a whole, coming into this year? Has it been improved since last year? Has it looked better? What do you see from your standpoint?
From my standpoint, I feel like we're improving. We got some freshmen coming in, Miles Price, just a young guy that's gonna make a big impact in the slots. And we got JJ Spark, man. We got Loic. We got Sid came back. Everybody just improving that game every day as we come out to practice and getting each other better. And Miles just got a little spark to him that, like, he could just bring anything to the table after the catch, and it's gonna be a just a big spark to the offense, really.
Go to Carlos Silva.
Hey, man, just wanted to ask you a couple of questions. I guess, obviously going outside to inside, we've asked you that before. Do you kind of feel like you still might be going to both, or do you think you're going to be sticking with one? And I guess what's it like if you are sticking with one, to be able to kind of focus on that throughout the season?
I just stay prepared just in case anything happen. Anybody go down, I could just step back out to the outside. But my main focus right now is the inside. So I just been studying the playbook for the inside and study the playbook for every position, really. And anywhere they need me to go, I'll just go there.
I know working with Dalton, you've learned some things. I guess what are some things you've been able to teach Miles and some of the younger wide receivers that are either kind of making those switches like you had done last year, or going into this year that are kind of trying to figure out how to find some playing time?
I've been teaching him, like, the pace of the game, like, just how to slow it down in his head. Like, the college experience and the high school experience, two different speeds. So, like, you got to get the play and then just get on the field and do your thing. Like, and he's caught on very well. And
last one for me. I know it's obviously been a unique offseason, to say the least. Was there anything you had to do to kind of keep yourself in shape, or just keep yourself strong, or anything that you kind of did to kind of make sure that your teammates knew that you were all 100% in, or anything like that?
Mainly, I worked on my weight over the quarantine, and then off season, I just worked on my weight, and then my speed, I just keep that. I work on running every day, mechanics and all that. But mainly, my main focus was my weight, so I worked on that all quarantine.
We'll go to Phil Mayer.
Hey, Keyshawn. So obviously you had that huge game against Texas in the last game of last season. How much does that sort of momentum, is that like a big help coming into the next season, that happened in the most recent game, being fresh in your memory?
Yes, sir. It was a big impact on how I'm coming in this season. Like, my mindset changed. I'm attacking the field every day. Like, it was that Texas game. So every time I step on the field, I'm just playing my heart out and giving my team all I got.
Yeah, and then we talked a little bit about how you've been playing some inside and some outside. What's sort of like the biggest challenge in having to be at both of those positions? Like, what's different about them that you really have to stay on top of?
Just different route concepts. You just have to learn different route concepts from the inside to the outside, like how to get past the linebacker and get to the safety from the slot, then how to get off the line from a cornerback on the outside. So
finish with Don Wales.
Keyshawn, you mentioned working on your weight. What are you up to now?
I went to 190. I went from 170 to 190 during the quarantine.
And since you're obviously a speed guy, how did you decide to, how did you decide what weight you want to be at without costing you a step of speed?
I just maintain this weight so that I can keep my speed. Cause I tried to get to 195 and I started slowing down. It was a little heavy on me, but now I'm just maintaining my weight to 190 so I can be good to run.
How did you go about putting on the 20 pounds?
It was hard at first. Then I had to adjust to the weight, and then once I adjusted to it, now I'm back to normal.
Obviously when, being quarantined, you've got a lot of free time. Really, I've just been trying to get into the playbook more. Having a brand new offense for the first year, you're going to have some bumps in the roads. Going back and looking at film from the previous fall and really just diving into the playbook and making sure that everything's sharp and fine-tuned. So that way when we came back, it wasn't practice 1. It felt more like practice 10, 11, 12, just continuing to build on top of what we had already done in the spring that had gotten cut short. So that was a big thing that I did while being in quarantine and everything.
So for you, did you do, I guess, in terms of just kind of working a little bit harder this year, I guess, what did you feel watching that film that maybe you can kind of improve on this year to kind of make sure that you're more consistent through each game and make sure that your statistics are consistent throughout the year as well?
Yeah, there were a couple of tendencies that I noticed with myself. Coming off the ball a little bit slow at times. This is one thing that I noticed. Been working on that a lot with Coach Luke on my shin angle and my stance, and then just continuing to try and block really well for my guys. When the ball's getting out on the perimeter, just being able to lay down good blocks for the outside guys, knowing that they're going to do the same for me. Really just trying to just improve everything. Once you get more into your playbook and you see a signal coming from the sideline or, you're getting it from the quarterback and you instantly know what's going on, you don't even have to hesitate. You get to play a lot faster and things just go a lot smoother.
Last one from me, I guess. I know you guys have had a lot of talented wide receivers come in as freshmen. You know what you have coming back from last year. I guess, what have you seen so far early on in terms of what's either or who's impressed you or any of the young guys that have kind of impressed you, or maybe a returner that's kind of maybe coming back and showing that he's still there, like a Seth Collins or someone else?
Yeah, it's really, really competitive, and that's great. The more competition you have, the better that you have to be, the better your standard has to get. Loic has been one of the guys new that's really shined in the outside room for me. Miles Price, that guy's very, very explosive in our room. He looks really, really impressive right now. Doesn't look like a freshman. Sterling Galban is running fast again. He has had some injuries along the way at his time here, but guy's going. Like you mentioned, Seth, he goes 100%, 100 miles an hour every day, every rep, doesn't matter. I'm just really ready to be able to play with all those guys. And like I said, it's very competitive, and that's great because, you have to have that competitiveness to go. And, it's only going to help me, McLean and Keyshawn, be better because we have to raise our standards because those guys are really impressive right now.
Go to David Collier.
Hey Dalton, you kind of mentioned Miles there. How crowded does it seem like at the inside receiver this year compared to last?
I wouldn't say it feels, crazy, with all the crowded word, I guess. Like I said, it is really, really competitive. Like, I don't know if crowded would be the way that I would use. But like I said, the competitiveness is phenomenal because it's always been competitive in that room with me, McLean, and then when Keyshawn came back and wasn't playing outside and got moved back to the inside room. We've always had competitiveness in there with us three and with Xavier White as well. but just adding Miles in there, it continues to build, build on top of what was already there, and it only adds more, and it makes you have to go even harder.
We'll go to Dom Williams.
Dalton, the news came out when you guys were on the field today, I think, but the NCAA granted a blanket waiver to all fall sports athletes, no matter how much you play this year. That this year is not going to count against your eligibility. So if you're a junior this year, you can be a junior again next year. Do you have any particular thought on how that affects the team or you individually?
No, I just think it gives more guys an opportunity to continue to get more film for themselves. I think it gives you, like I said, just an opportunity to get more out of your time here and your experience. I think it's a really good thing. I'm excited for it. It just, for a lot of guys, if, like I said, it just gives you that one extra year. If you feel like you absolutely need that, it's there to lift you up and to give you an even better shot, with your time, once you leave Texas Tech. It gives you more of an opportunity, I guess, to get more tape for those guys in the league and your opportunities moving forward from Texas Tech.
Just for you personally, since you kind of had to fight to get your position, coming here as a walk-on, and then established yourself last year, is it nice to know that you can have an additional year at Texas Tech and in this offense to kind of enjoy what you worked hard for, if you can take that additional year at the end of your career?
Absolutely. I grew up watching Texas Tech football. First time I was in the Jones Stadium was, Michael Crabtree was here playing, and they played Colorado State, and that's the first time that I had ever stepped foot in there. And, now the roles are flipped for me. I'm actually, it was my dream to be where Michael and them were, and now I am there. And, like you said, it gives me another year and another opportunity to continue to live, what my childhood dream was, which is to come play big-time football here at Tech.
And on a lighter note, do you have any cool cliff jumping experiences from this summer to update us on?
No, actually, I took the year off. I decided to not raise Coach Wells' blood pressure with my actions off the field. I was pretty tame. Tried to stay social distance and quarantine, so been trying to do everything the right way.